box office. Thor, Love and Thunder, thunderous with $143 million opening. That's a franchise best. And the key here is that it was a $302 million worldwide opening. But the question is, will it have the legs that other movies that are out right now, like a Top Gun Maverick has, or even Minions, which is still doing very well as well. But it has a 68% critic review on Rotten Tomatoes and an 81% audience review.
That's insane that it's 81%.
You think that's high?
Okay, spoiler alert. I don't know if anyone's surprised by this. I also voiced this opinion on the vlog, but I hated it. And
why did you hate it so much?
Here's one thing that was jarring about it. It couldn't decide if it was kid-friendly or not, like family-friendly or not, because it at the beginning had cameos from Guardians of the Galaxy characters, and then like the CGI overload visuals were just like hell to get through.
Which me and you are
I hated it.
Not ashamed to talk about how much that bothers us.
Yeah, and a waste of money too.
Before we move, that's the biggest thing here. This is one of the highest budgeted movies in all of Marvel. It's also one of the shortest, 119 minutes. This movie cost $250 million to make. If you add in production budget and marketing, that makes it about $375 million, which means if you assume the 60-40 split between theater and production company, that means it has to make about $600 million just to break even, which is insane. And for a 119-minute movie,
yeah,
that's insane.
And then what I mean that it couldn't decide if it was like family or friendly or not, they were just randomly adding curse words into the script, just like scattered throughout at random in ways that were very awkward and didn't seem fitting for the tone of the movie, which was supposed to be funny, lighthearted, visuals that kids like. It was literally they were riding on a space carriage, like with goats, like screaming goats, and like on a rainbow at one point. It's a very like childish storyline, despite the fact that they're like adult themes, like they curse and then there's a character dying of cancer.
Was there any F words? Were there any F words? I know PG-13 is allowed one F word per movie.
I think I would have remembered it, but I don't think so. But I just think taking into account the money it took to make it look as extravagant as it did, which I don't even find appealing. I think it's boring. But when you're taking that into account, you can't pair that with a script that just sucks balls. Like, it was so bad. The jokes weren't funny.
Too much humor? Overabundance of humor?
It was overdone and corny and in your face, and it was not clever enough that like adults would find it funny, yet there was language that is only appropriate for adult audiences. It was strange.
And from what I understand, that the Jane Foster storyline, which is based from the comics, which is, do you want to explain people what that storyline was, basically with her cancer storyline? So
she's like in stage 4 cancer that she found out about, well, it was like already at that stage. And that's where you see her at the beginning of the movie. So when she picks up Mjolnir, she's not sick. Like, she looks completely different. She's like,
and it pulls the cancer drugs out of her.
Yeah, but at the same time, they find out, like Thor finds out that when she picks up Mjolnir, it's accelerating her cancer. So it's shortening her life the more that she does it. And her reasoning for doing it was just that she was hoping it would help her, or she's kind of trying to live in the moment and doesn't really care whether it shortens her life or not. So that's that theme. And it was a little bit, I don't know, I think it was a little ham-fisted and like over the top.
There is I did have an article here that basically says, it says that Thor Love and Thunder is slammed for offensive cancer storyline.
I don't think it was offensive.
I brought this one up that one may not be on there, Taylor. I brought this one up last minute, but I thought this one was really funny. Like, anybody can find anything offensive nowadays, but basically the idea here is, from the tweet says, I think the most disgusting thing about Thor Love and Thunder is the way they handled Jane Foster's cancer, specifically the chemo scene. It's a delicate thing to deal with, especially in a superhero movie for kids, but holy damn, if you can't do it with respect, don't do it at all. What I was from what I understand, it's more like the fact that they're going between comedy and then serious storyline, and then right back to comedy because they can't get away from it because it's Marvel and they have to have ham-fisted jokes all the time.
Yeah.
And
it's a repeat offender studio in that regard. And then another thing is that they tried to have this heartfelt ending. I don't even think we need to say spoiler alert anymore because I've been spoiling it. But
spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. They aim to have this heartfelt ending to the movie where even though Thor loses Jane Foster, he still has a companion in his adopted kind of niece because she calls him uncle. And she's a brat. Like, she is not likable whatsoever, and at the end of the movie you're just left like confused as to why Thor is still fulfilled by this companionship that he has in this child when she's like completely unappreciative of what he does for her. Yeah, overall just like not heartwarming, not funny.
Thank you.
I didn't find the action scenes very compelling either. It was just too much CGI.
Where did the budget go? Did the budget go into like literally? I think it's the Guns N' Roses soundtrack,
dude.
Like having that
was like 99% of it in the trailer, and not in the movie itself.
Yeah, but like $250 million for a 119-minute movie is insane. Having to make $600 million for a movie that, for the most part, is doing fine. Like if you look at it, it is the highest. Is the highest opening of the Thor movies at 143 million domestically, 302 worldwide. But in general, I just don't know if it's really something that is worth all of the trouble down the line. And then we have the other stuff, which I call non-traversies, which is it's getting called out for being, I guess the term is queer baiting. They're saying basically...
there's a moat of there's a polluted trash moat around Thor that has nothing to do with the movie, but all of the marketing and the backlash to the marketing and the controversy about how they wanted to advertise it.
And they can never get out of their own way with the virtue signal.
There's no drawbridge over the trash moat.
So it says fans are accusing Natalie Portman and Taika Waititi of exaggerating the queer representation in Thor: Love and Thunder after the pair claimed that the film was, quote, super gay.
Which it wasn't. Let me list for you what was gay in it.
But I'm saying why? Why is that a selling point to anyone? Like,
no, it is unfortunately. Like,
that's weird.
People will go see a movie if you market it in that like pandering woke way.
But it's super pandering. Like, to me, if somebody's like there's like the guys in this thing are super straight, like I'm not going to see it because the guy is super straight or the girl is super straight.
People are won easily, and they think that if they go see it, they're supporting this community that has nothing to do with how the movie was made.
Or it doesn't have anything to do with the movie at all.
Yeah. So like, let me tell you what was gay in the movie. Not Jane Foster, not Thor.
Because that's literally the straight romance that preceded it in the first two movies.
So-called King Valkyrie.
Which is pandering.
Tessa Thompson.
King and Tessa Thompson with her literal like she has like two facial expressions that she can do.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of her acting.
She was canonically like bisexual, I guess. I don't know.
And so Korg. And The Rock and Korg.
Yeah, and Korg was canonically as gay as a rock can be, which I don't really understand. But basically, they showed Valkyrie.
So the rock guy was the representation?
Yeah, Korg was gay. I don't know.
And then
he's a rock.
Valkyrie's bisexual.
Yeah, so they showed Valkyrie as they were storming out of Zeus's palace. Valkyrie kissed the hand of one of Zeus's like concubine women.
Yeah.
And then they rode off into the rainbow sunset.
Beautiful.
And then another thing that happened with Valkyrie was a conversation that she had with Korg. When Korg was separated from the rest of his body, it was only his face. He was explaining how his species reproduces asexually, where two like male Korgs hold hands over a puddle of lava and they create a molten baby in the lava. and that's supposed to be gay, I guess.
But
Super gay.
and
when Natalie Portman says this stuff, you can literally feel her patting herself on the back.
Yeah,
she's
yeah, totally.
This declaration, which was met with cheers from the crowd when she says it's so gay, was reiterated by Waititi, who yells "super gay" into his microphone. Enjoy it, he added. On TikTok, where the clip of the moment was shared by, I can't pronounce that name, and viewed more than 4.4 million times, Marvel fans were excited by the promise of LGBTQ representation in the film, as the Marvel Cinematic Universe has been largely lacking this. They've been doing it since the Eternals. The problem is, it's not important to these stories because, for the most part, other than like Steve Rogers and Peggy Carter, right? We have those, and then we have so Captain America and Peggy Carter, and then you have Pepper Potts and Iron Man. There's not really a lot of time for romance in general, straight or gay, because the point is that aliens are attacking. It's based on comic books. The love stuff should be, for the most part, straight or gay, very, very minimal, and it should elevate the story in certain aspects, but it certainly shouldn't be a selling point of any of these movies.
And I feel like if someone did go to the movie thinking, oh, I'm going to see like gay characters, something that I'm not used to seeing as much, this is great, and then they saw that.
And then you see Korg talking about lava, like molten lava babies. And then in the same conversation, the only other gay thing in the movie was that conversation that she had with Korg, where Korg like mentioned offhand that she had broken up with a girlfriend of hers and they were talking about their love lives. That was it.
So it sounds like it wasn't super gay, it was subtly gay.
It sounded like
which is
the
fine,
cast wanted
exactly.
to
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's fine.
Pat themselves on the back for representation that they didn't do.
So for the people that do care, that's annoying. For the people that don't care, then they're like, okay, but why did you talk about it to begin with if it's not important? They are addicted to the virtue signal. All of them. All the celebrities love to be. It's why I hate the concept when they talk about representation, because it always feels like this really, really narcissistic thing where this actress or actor is like, I'm representing this group of people as if they have been anointed some type of spokesperson for an entire group of people. You are not that special, and movies are not that important. Is there great cinema? Absolutely. Do I believe that movie making is a fantastic art form? Yes. Are you changing the world because you made a rock gay? No.
Rock.
You are not changing the world by making a rock gay. You're not. So it's this has also soured people on Taika Waititi. Because they're not happy with the fact that the movie just jokes constantly every 5 minutes and doesn't let up, which has them worried about his upcoming Star Wars project, which he has been heavily talking about recently. Basically, the idea is that he didn't realize that Natalie Portman was already in the prequels and asked her to be involved in it. So it proves that he doesn't care. Either he doesn't know enough about the source material to actually do his job.
Did you even watch
or
it?
did you even watch
One
it?
time?
So it says, some of the responses says, Taika Waititi talking about his 2025 Star Wars film was a dumpster fire. Forgot Natalie Portman was in Star Wars, asked if she'd like to be in it, doesn't have time to research the IP, realized his film idea is flawed, and then they just go on about all this stuff where I think the bloom is off the rose with him. I actually like Taika Waititi as a director when he puts a joking twist on various, on more serious topics, like Jojo Rabbit. Or if you take him as an actor, I actually think he's a really, really good actor. He was great as the would-be bad guy in Free Guy. So I actually like him more as an actor.
I didn't see Free Guy. Was that interesting?
Yes. Free Guy is actually probably the future of movies. If we want to get away from comic book stuff and more into conceptual video
ideas.
It's a conceptual idea based around the concept of open world video games. I think that's where you're going to find a lot less pushback from people like me who are going to call you out for bragging about making a rock gay. Mm-hmm. As if that's your big claim to fame in 2020.
It's look at our pet rock.
And this movie it's got a B+ cinema score, which is really good for anyone else. For Marvel, that is very low. Second lowest of any Marvel movie, next to Eternals, which had a B. But Marvel gets a pass from a lot of their fans because the fans are not NPCs, but they love what they love, and that's fine.
A lot of them are NPCs and will like anything that's has the Marvel logo slapped over it. And there's also a heavy-handed introduction to the movie that's look, it's based on comics.
And from what I understand, people liked Christian Bale as Gore the God Butcher.
He did a good job. Yeah.
But he's also like, they asked him to like, do you like Marvel? He's like, I didn't know what Marvel was before. I don't know if I'd buy that. He's like,
I mean,
he's like,
he
I
doesn't
saw one of
have
them.
to know everything about it, but
it's not his job to know. It's his job to.
Yeah, he did a good job.
Okay. Do you think they should make another one?
Another Thor movie? Mm-hmm. Hell no.
Here's the thing. I love
What's
Chris.
this, number 4?
This is number 4.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I love Chris Hemsworth. And as they continue to replace these characters, we're going to talk later about Chris Evans talking about having to like give certification to the fact that they're making a 4th Captain America movie, but they're doing it with Sam Wilson, who played Falcon, which means if the original Captain America has to justify your existence, you're not really Captain America. It's just pandering. Mm-hmm. Like, I love Chris Hemsworth in this role because I think that he really enjoys playing this character, but I didn't like the first 2 because I thought they were too overly serious and boring, and I thought they missed their mark by that point, and I thought Ragnarok was meh, and this one I have no real interest in seeing because of the review you gave, all the controversies, all that stuff. I'm going to keep saying controversy. I love that word, controversy. I don't know if they need to make him, but don't get rid of Chris Hemsworth. Incorporate him into the rest of the movie. If the whole point is that you have an expanded, connected universe, you can keep him around. Just don't. He doesn't need any more movies. They didn't give Iron Man a 4th movie. He just went on to work in other films.
Wait, do you mean Chris Hemsworth as Captain America?
No, Chris Hemsworth is Thor. So I'm saying, do they need to make a 5th Thor film, or do they just have him go and do other movies within the franchises?
Here's the thing you can rely on. It's the law of diminishing returns.
Yeah.
I know this seems like dogmatically anti-sequel, but if that's what I am, then that's what I am, okay? You can't do something 5 times just as well each 5 times. You can't even do something moderately well that many times that's the same story, the same characters.
Miles Teller was saying that they're like they're already like in talks to do like Top Gun 3. I'm like, don't do it. You don't need to do it. The movie was perfect the way it is. There's no need to do that movie.
If they can make money doing it, though.
I know.
Of course they will. It's not even
to.
a question of like should or shouldn't anymore, but we know that they will.
Yeah, and that's the problem. As long as there's money to be made, they will keep.
With the Minions thing too, it's like, yeah, people are gonna go see it because it's Minions and kids recognize it and they ask their parents to go. But like, is there anything else like worthy in entertainment that you could offer than just something derivative?
No.
Like, this is like, it feels like a death rattle of our culture. Like, there's nothing new.
Yep.
You can't have anything original.
Let's do Super Chats.
Okay. Sorry, I'm being like depressing.
Oh, also before we go on, they're saying that Thor 4 is in limbo for a Chinese release. They have not had a release in China for a Marvel movie since Avengers Endgame.
Well, how principled of them.
Over LGBTQ stuff. So
I was
China,
just going to say,
China is,
could them promoting the movie as being so gay or super gay affect how other countries 110%.
Yep,
Totally.
absolutely. That's a very big, like whether you're talking Qatar, Turkey, a lot of these other countries, they just don't, they're not the West. Which is why I always laugh when these actors crap on the West where they live, not realizing how good they have it here compared to a lot of other places in the world. But that is up in the air right now. So, Super Chats.
Dizwiz said, I don't really understand what I am reading. Mary exchanged conversation with Tim on IRL. Tim
Equals.
Upgrades? Wait, what?
He will have to send another Super Chat to like
Can
decode
you explain
that.
what you meant, please? Bad App said, I got honeypotted by Mary into making a WeChat, but I don't know any commies to approve my QR code, so the CCP can gain access to my library of unsolicited beep pics. Hey, Brett.
That's like a lot of T's. It's better than one T. I am fine with there's 2 T's in Brett, but if you want to put 7, that's fine. Just don't put 1. Brett with 1 T is just Brent without the N. It's a problem.
War Chicken Apollo said, I wanted to catch you live after Mary shilled PCC on Timcast, so I turned on all notifications on your channel. Somehow Google failed to notify me of you going live. I'm sure it's just an oversight.
That is
That's
that is
weird.
very, very suspicious, and I will have to take this up with Google. I'm one of those people where I don't tend to like always think that there's somebody like I don't think there's any like Google employee that's out to get me and you.
Specifically
Though,
targeting us.
I kind of like the idea that there's just one dude there
That
who
means
hates us.
that means they're doing their job right.
Yes, I like the idea that there's just one dude at Google who just hates me and Mary, and he's just like, nope, not today.
Bad Apps also said, I support super gay content by watching PCC. Aw, shucks, Bad Apps.
That's very nice of you. Thank you.
Matthew Hammond said, I was promised money would shoot out at everyone. So far, I'm disappointed. It's nice to see Mary in her natural habitat.
Money has absolutely
There's
been shooting
money.
out.
Also,
Are you blind?
I wasn't ready for it, so each time it happened, I'm like,
I meant to ask if you were
Oh,
okay
yeah.
after the first
'Cause,
time.
Yeah, you can't
saw
see
me.
this.
First time is always difficult.
Yeah, the audience can't see this, but the way the guns are angled, they're
They're
shooting
pointed
directly at
directly
the
at me.
guests
Yeah.
every time. So
Literally
they
there
might be
to
a
get
little
the
more
guest.
startled. Caper2X said, Oh, Darkness, methinks you're not a true Marvelite Marvel fan. Having been a fan since the 1960s, I say, nay, make mine Marvel. Welcome, Taylor.
I don't know if the Make Mine Marvel is a reference to Make Mine a Milkshake, which was the milkshake incident with Heather Antos in like the 2015 to 2017. That we'd have a
Milkshake incident.
we would have to have a whole episode just
What
to
is
talk
this?
about that. It connects to Gamergate and women in comics. It's a thing.
Okay.
It's a deep
Hobbit
dive
said,
for another
they're
day.
turning the freaking rocks gay.
It's a problem.
They
man.
are,
Where
indeed.
was Alex Jones when you need him to get everything right?
Dragon Stalin 1001 said, I'd rather pay to support PCC than give money to the Marvel Universe for this type of crap movie. Well, thank you. It means a lot to us.
Especially for like 119 minutes is really like I mean
It
I
was
actually
so
love
long.
that.
I'm not gonna lie. I did fall asleep like multiple times. Not for very long. I was able to shake myself awake.
but
it
under
was
2
not-
hours.
It was not entertaining.
Usually when I like hear somebody talking about a movie, I will become more interested in the movie.
Yeah.
This has made me even less interested in watching
It's
it.
so bad. Just don't even go.
It is the number 12th MCU opening, and I just want to point out that it is like the third best post-pandemic release. But anything with that amount of budget is going to get that by virtue of just being that big of a budget, and the amount of money that got pushed into the marketing is going to push it there. But it is opening below where Doctor Strange was, and Doctor Strange didn't do that well because of poor legs, because of poor reviews, and poor word of mouth. I don't think this movie
Yeah.
has the word of mouth to make $1 billion. I don't. So I think it'll make its money back.
Well, it said the Rotten Tomatoes rating was like 80% for audience, right?
Audience
That's
is
not
for Doctor
terrible.
Strange.
For this one,
Yep,
for Thor.
no,
Yeah.
80%
Yeah.
and 60 and I'm actually surprised that the critics score is so low. They're kind of bashing on it.
Well,
but
I'm surprised that the audience score is so high with what we're seeing most articles about.
yeah. So what we'll have to wait and see is like what the second weekend, how big of a drop the second weekend box office will kind of give you a better idea as to where that's going as far as predictions for what it will actually make in profit. Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
Bye.